I lied. The video isn't about the worst games of all time. It's just games that pissed me off. You know, they made a really powerful enemy, or at least one with a high power level. Alright, Grand Theft Auto 4. Now this game, I got instead of GTA 5. It's 2013. I'm 8. I'm a little boy. I'm happy. I got caught up in the hype. You know, people were talking about GTA 5 because I mean, when it came out, it sold like a million gazillion copies, and people still keep fucking buying it and paying for the online, which for some reason. So why did I get GTA 4? Well, that's because my dad was not willing to spend like $60 on a new game. And it was already a hard sell, you know, just trying to get a Grand Theft Auto game because my mom is, you know, kind of religious. And you know, Grand Theft Auto is Grand Theft Auto. It has a reputation. That's why every kid wanted it, because you could beat up people on the street. So what happened was we got a used copy of GTA 4 with the DLC. Even though Gay Tony froze halfway through the first mission, and the Lost and Dead is fucking gross. Back then, I don't remember getting past Bohan, and I think I know why. Okay, fast forward a few years later. I'm bigger. I'm older now. I'm like fucking 14. And I play it again in a nostalgia-fueled rampage. And I remember having a pretty good time, mostly because I really understood the writing this time. That doesn't seem so bad, right? And it isn't, because, well, the first time I was just a little kid. I mean, we rarely finish games at that age, and the second time I did finish the game, and you know, I was old enough to really know what makes a game good. But at the same time, I was blinded by nostalgia, like how a lot of people are, or they're just dumb. What makes GTA 4 shit? It's a game called Grand Theft Auto. You know, cars in the title, and driving sucks. It's ashamed of itself. It's why it just fills the fucking map with taxis everywhere. And I remember from that fucking 14-year-old playthrough, I used taxis a whole bunch because why would you drive?
It's one day I gotta turn up here, don't I? Oh shit! This guy's getting hit. Oh my god. Okay, we're good. We're okay. Son of a bitch.
So the other half of Grand Theft Auto is shooting, and the shooting is bad. The thing is that Nico is slow, so it doesn't like, it's not super easy and like fast and you zip around like in Splatoon, which I mean, as far as like a single player third-person shooter goes, it's pretty good. It's up there. Or like even Vanquish, I tried that once, and you know, you could like zip and slide around, and that was pretty satisfying. But then the game just kept on going for so long. The presentation of the game is fucking awful in general. Grand Theft Auto 4 is an ugly game. Please stop saying it looks realistic, alright? I live in the place they based Liberty City off of. We had a fucking sun, alright? The world is not gray and brown and fucking green. That's not how it actually looks, okay? But going back to that, when you're shooting, you go, because like, here's the thing. Like the last 2/3 of the game is Nico. He's just a hired gun. He goes in, he shoots people, and it's just not fun because the game doesn't necessarily get harder. I mean, there's more enemies, but like, you always have cover. It's a cover shooter, and it's just no, it's not good. The gameplay, the last 2/3 of the game is Nico just becoming a hired gun for like several gang crime bosses or whatever the fuck. And it's bad because the shooting doesn't evolve in any way. You're not in any different environments at all. I mean, like, you're just in like warehouses and like shitty buildings because that's realistic. But like, it's not fun. It's not interesting to look at. The game just feels like one big blur, and the sounds of the guns aren't like super good.
You son of a bitch! You better not drive away. You better, yeah.
And I might be spoiled because, you know, I played newer games like shit. Overwatch has some pretty good sounding guns. In Splatoon, and you know, going back to that, even GTA 5's guns sound better, honestly. So it's just like, I don't care about realism. It sounds good. You can call the game as realistic as you want, and I'm not going to look into it. Obviously, it doesn't look realistic, but I don't care about the sounds or any of the weird, stupid little details they spent time putting in. The gameplay isn't fun, but it doesn't do anything better than like any other like shooter on the market. Grand Theft Auto 4 is a shit game. This this next game is pretty ignorant of me, but I don't care, and it's Watch Dogs Legion, and I think it's not a controversial take to make to say. Watch Dogs Legion, I hate it. Watch Dogs 1 is one of my favorite games ever. I played it several times. Watch Dogs 2 I've played several times. Those games are both really cool. I like the style. And the style thing, that's what really gets me going about Watch Dogs Legion. Because with Watch Dogs 1, it had this like I don't know, like wireframe type look with like black and white. It's like simple like geometric like type things. Like when you die, you see like some shapes flash out and then zoom out from Aiden's phone. And like the upgrade screen is like a circle. It's just a simple circle. It's simplistic. It's like with a bunch of different colors. Some kind of like something that you see like in a subway. And it's it's techy. It's futuristic. It's minimalistic, like how tech is. And they nailed that, because that's like what Google and shit looks like. I mean, I'm thankful they didn't do that fucking corporate art style shit. But like they could have done it. In Watch Dogs 2, with the game not having you play as a fucking assassin, fixer or whatever. You play as a particularly violent hipster in Watch Dogs 2. And in that game, it's really flashy. It's kind of punk, like glitchy and stuff. Because it's more of a like a Watch Dogs 2 is more of a like a nerdy, fuck you, fuck the establishment type of game.
Watch Dogs Legion is fucking blue.
Mr. Dory, what does blue mean?
Blue means that Watch Dogs Legion lost all of the identity from the first two games and doesn't even carve out any of its own. Just listen to the music.
Another game that really pisses me off is Bayonetta, the first one. And it's not even because it's like a bad game. It's like I enjoyed playing Bayonetta. It's just that going back for that playthrough on hard mode, I just don't want to do it. I got to the part on the highway with those claw guys who you can't use witch time on, and then just I uninstalled it because it's just not good. Honestly, the weapons all feel really samey, and I get that because it's the first game. But like, it's just another case of first game syndrome. Honestly, Bayonetta 1 is just like, no, because I played Bayonetta 2 first, and then 3, and then 1. So when I go from two good games to a okay game, it's just. Bayonetta 1 also has this really stupid, fuck you, shitty, bad, overly long missile segment where it's just a reference to some old, shitty, stupid fucking Sega game that I hate, and I don't really remember the name of it, but because goddamn, That was just awful. Okay, so another game I hate, Pokemon. All of them. This one question: are the Pokemon good? Immediately filters out Johto, Sinnoh, Kalos, and Paldea. Well, what's left? You got Kanto, but Kanto suffers from first game syndrome, and I mean that in the sweetest way because it is a solid base, but it's the first game. So why on God's green flat Earth would you ever actually go play Pokemon Red, Blue, or Yellow? What are you doing? Why? Why? It even like it just has less Pokemon. If you're a fan of the series, why would you go back to play it? It's just a worse game. Hoenn, okay, I don't want to be that guy, but too much water is a real thing. There's so many fucking water types, and the game has no plot. I mean, there's Team Aqua and Magma, and I guess that counts, but you're just kind of wandering around catching Pokemon and stuff. So if the core gameplay isn't really catching you, it's really easy to just drop the game. And that also applies to the Gen 4 games. There's no real story in those games at all. Those games aren't good. Those games they were slow, but they had good music, so you were forced to listen to the music, which tricks you into thinking that those games are good. They're not. Unova. What's the weakness of Unova? Well, Unova's actually pretty good. And Alola too. Those are probably the two games that I'll let slide. But the thing is, the first few hours of Black and White are just a fucking drag to get through. And then Black 2 and White 2 are just a fucking ROM hack. I don't care. I every time I try to play those games, I end up just turning it off and forgetting about it because it's there it is. That's what I think about him. I have no words. I just don't give a shit. And in Sun and Moon, we all know it's Lily. Lily makes the game bad, so I can't really call it good, and I can't say that I willingly want to play it because I'll see Lily and I'll turn that shit off. I guess all that's left is Galar, and well, no. And I'm recording this on a different day because I realized that my word choice was not right. You see, the game I'm talking about now is Splatoon 3. The biggest problem everyone knows about with the game are the maps, and I realized that I probably shouldn't say map because that also could mean minor attractive person. I'll just start saying stage. So Splatoon 3. Yeah, Splatoon 3 is a multiplayer shooter with bad stage design, so it's a bad game. It's also just the third Splatoon game, which means that you've seen everything before. Actually, the single player is essentially just the DLC from the second game, Octo Expansion, but free, so it's just slightly worse, and actually noticeably worse, but whatever. It even ends the same way the last two games did, with the song The Calamari Incantation playing at the end. Another really cool thing is that they fused blasters and chargers, two of the most cancer dickhead classes in the game, into this one thing called the Stringer, and it feels like dick to use. Actually no, it feels like nothing to use, and it's just really annoying to play against. Actually, backlines are horrible to play against because of the stupid stage design. There's this one called Mincemeat Metalworks that forces you to just move really slowly to get to the enemy base. It's horrible. Splatoon 2 added this sick thing called umbrellas. So it's basically a shotgun, and if you hold down the button, you can open up the canopy, which is a shield. It acts as a shield from ink, and it was one of my favorite weapons to use, and you can't use it anymore because it's just fucking awful because the devs just refuse to make the weapon good. And I know all these things I'm saying, I mean, most of the things, aside from the single player, I mean, they can be fixed in updates, but it's too late. I stopped paying for the game. The game costs $90 because I mean you're gonna have to pay tax on the 60 and then for the online, which isn't good. Uh, I just don't know why you want to play Splatoon 3. I mean, I guess if you like it and you dug in, you really like the gameplay, it's neat, but nah. You know what really gets me going is at the end of Splatoon 2, they held the Splatfest, Order versus Chaos, and at the end of the Splatoon 1's the Splatfest at the end of Splatoon 1 was Callie versus Marie, that green thing versus that purple thing, and the results of that influenced the story of Splatoon 2. And you know, I foolishly thought that Chaos winning in Splatoon 2 would influence, you know, the whole tone and style of Splatoon 3, and nothing like that happened. I mean, the stages, which suck, are at least orange, so if you like orange, I guess you'd like the game, because it's, you know, deserts, because that's what Chaos is. Mad Max took place in a desert, so that's what we have to do, right? Yeah, real cool. The single player, by the way, still uses just sci-fi shit that the Octo expansion from Splatoon 2 and really just the series in general uses. One of the things I really hoped for you know, the game after Splatoon 2 was, you know, an expansion of the, you know, new like kind of semi-aquatic world. Maybe having like alternate modes where you could play as other species, and you don't have that in Splatoon 3. You have a tabletop mode where it's a fucking card game, and you also have lockers, which you just buy shit and decorate it to store in your locker, and you have to go into a separate room in the lobby to go look at them. It sounds stupid because it is. They didn't add any like new game modes, so it doesn't really have a reason to exist now, does it? One thing they did add was seasons. You see, before the game would get updated, like I guess like every month, every few weeks. I can't really remember, but now Splatoon 3 adopted seasons, which means that like every 3-ish months, the game gets one big update, and it's bad. It's just too slow of it's just too slow of a pace to update a game. And if you just leave in a major problem, the game is just going to be bad for like 3 months until they might fix it. Splatoon 3 also has a lot of really fucking like wacky like specials. Like it's like that chump thing. It launches a bunch of like bombs, and you can destroy these bombs, but if you don't, they'll explode. And don't worry, because one of them isn't enough to kill you. It's a horrible special. They might have buffed it. I don't know. I stopped playing the game a month or two ago. And there's also the Ultra Stamp, which is a big hammer that, you know, you just sort of like, you know, do a Pac-Man thing, you chase people down. But at the same time, there's the Kraken, which really makes you wonder, why are both of these things in the same game? Just like how, I mean, like, why would you have like that stupid chump thing I mentioned earlier where you launch the bombs, and then also the Booyah Bomb, which is, you know, better. Really, it's a really bad feeling when you fall out of love with a game and then a sequel's announced and you think that sequel is gonna, you know, patch things up. You're gonna fall in love with the series again, but instead you hate it, and you just feel horrible. You begin to wonder what you even liked about the original, and you know, you see it constantly refuse to add Maury Towers back into the game. Please, come on, baby, let's go.